don't know what that is about, but that means I don't have to go to baseball tonight. So yay, right? That would be nice. Kathy, grades are due today. I think they're due the 12th because they're due 5 business semester. So this when let's just put it that way. But so welcome everybody. May, I know it's crazy with the end of the semester, but hopefully once everyone's grades are in, if you're not teaching summer, or if you are teaching summer session, you'll have 2 weeks to kind of, I don't know, get everything together, right? Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. I still have kids home with me, so it's not really going to be a vacation for me. But maybe it'll be warm enough that I can start doing some gardening of some kind. Um, but so just a few things with May. It is AAPI Heritage Month, which is Asian American Pacific Islander. I sent out an email last week informing everyone about it. PBS right now, you can stream it online for free.
No, there's not.
It would be a no.
It'll be a no.
No.
Want to try and wedge it on top
can.
of something in the back? Go ahead.
PBS has a bunch of different documentaries and some great movies that you different Asian Americans. But also I sent out a list of books and things like that. And I just give a plug for my favorite. I know I wrote it in the email, but just in case you didn't read it all the way down there, it's A Hotel on the Corner of Bitter and Sweet. Awesome book, little historical fiction. And it's about California, San Francisco area during the time of the Japanese internment camps during World War II. And it's a friendship between a Japanese and a Chinese Americans, and it's a really nice story. And I actually learned a lot about it because what it was is because there was such great discrimination against the Japanese Americans at that time that obviously they were put in internment camps, but also just with Asians in general. So people that were Chinese, in order to not be discriminated against, would wear buttons that said, "I am Chinese," so that they weren't mistaken for Japanese. So something interesting if you are a book reader. And then with that, it is the end of grading, and I'm gonna keep it short and turn it over to Bill Reuter. Is he on? What are you?
Please turn on video.
How's Martina?
I'm tired.
Michael's showing us a message.
I didn't ask about Florida. I asked about
Martina's good.
Your mom. I should have asked about her.
She's okay.
Hey, Tom Webb.
Yes.
Could you mute yourself?
I don't. I'm trying to do this on my phone because I'm not home, so it's my first time.
Oh, I know. Thanks.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you, Marlene Arno. It is National Nurses Week. It was also Teacher Appreciation Week, and it is Mental Health Month. It's like they jammed everything and Mother's Day into the month of May, because there's also Memorial Day in there too. So I guess there's lots to celebrate depending on where you fall in those lines. So with that, Michael is flashing me to tell everyone to turn cameras on. And now back to you for real this time, Bill.
I appreciate it, and happy end of the semester. I'll try to be brief and provide some commentary on some of the updates as far as college. I'm sure Amy and Mark will say a few other things about COVID and all that good stuff, but we did send out a communication to all faculty and staff yesterday late in the day. We'd received a communication first from the governor's office and then from the chancellor about the requirement that all students are expected that come back in the fall to be fully vaccinated. That approval is dependent upon the current emergency vaccinations being fully authorized by the FDA. It would have to receive approval from the SUNY Board of Trustees to authorize it. So right now, there's no discussion. Well, I shouldn't say there's no discussion. Right now, there's nothing in the works as far as mandating faculty and staff to be vaccinated. But I'm sure as the summer progresses, that will be a discussion at SUNY and the state. We're still expecting fall guidance shortly. We are still planning on being face-to-face. And I think today's Buffalo News had a great article about the mandate, but it did make an interesting reference that immunizations have been required at SUNY since fall of 1990. So this is not something new. Obviously, COVID-19 is something new, but it's these type of requirements have been long in place. Pool testing continues. Amy told me this morning, a couple days ago, I should say, that the summer pool testing has started as of Monday. We continue to be a prime location for the county dispensing of vaccines. We are closing in on 65,000 vaccines between North and South Campus. We've been the leader as far as any community college in the state of New York. We actually hosted a prom vaccination party for anyone 16 and over at South and North Campus a week ago Saturday. We actually had 766 young adults take part in that process. And we also chose to try to do it as a recruitment function for enrollment. So we were out there, and then I think at the end of May, there's a second vaccination for that same group, and we will have enrollment and recruitment activities taking place. Speaking of enrollment, we ended spring down 18%. Fall was down about 17%. Year to year, it's not looking good. Summer right now is a brief glimmer of hope. We are actually 20% over last year this summer, but 12% down from summer of 19. I have no idea, quite honestly, where we're going to land for fall as far as projections. There's been a survey amongst the colleges, and there's no one projecting flat. There's no one projecting increases, but generally significant declines are anticipated again for the fall of 21, some 15, 16% as of now. I don't believe this new vaccination requirement is going to help us. I don't believe the increase in TAP certainly helps us either. So it's going to be a challenge enrollment going forward. Today's paper even talked about the decline in enrollment statewide. SUNY had, I think, 416,000 students enrolled in the fall of 19, down to 394,000 fall of 20. That's all of SUNY. And they said the hardest hit sector, obviously, has been community colleges, down over 10%. It was interesting, they talked about the number of online students that were enrolled completely online. It's 72%, I think in person 15%, and then the remaining amount was in a hybrid format. Hosted a college-wide forum the end of April. I think we had 261 people, according to Bob, logging in outside myself and Bob and Paula. It was very robust. I did not necessarily deliver the greatest news, but I want to give people an opportunity to ask questions ahead of time and during, and I have always tried to be as open and honest. I thought it was a better forum than sending out a communication through email. I've had not the good fortune to do several appearances on some local media, a lot when the president released his proposal about free community college tuition. But we've also done some bits about vaccines and the students. The President Biden proposal, the American Families Plan, is the term I used, an absolute game changer, talking about free tuition. Also part of that is a proposal to increase Pell. A significant share of our students, I believe 62% of our students, receive 100% of the Pell allocation. So to increase Pell by $1,400 certainly creates opportunities not only for those students at the max already, but also students that have needs. The other interesting thing, they have recognized the necessity of wraparound services. So they're looking at ranging from childcare, mental health services, peer mentoring, faculty mentoring, emergency needs, emergency grants, and practices that really recruit and retain diverse faculty. And they talked about transfer agreements. So it's a win-win for our students if this comes to fruition. The other part of the president's proposal before the American Families Plan was released was a $2 trillion infrastructure plan that included a $12 billion allocation for community colleges for the fiscal and infrastructure needs of the community colleges. I submitted on behalf of SUNY Erie a $272 million request for all three campuses as far as facility needs. We identified all the age of our buildings, deferred maintenance, as well as several new initiatives that we'd like to move forward. Where this goes or how it goes, who knows? But I guess my philosophy is if you don't ask, you don't get. So I went big. We had our virtual commencement last Thursday. I'm sure everyone knows we've had some hiccups. We're trying to identify the cause of the hiccups. If I had to do-over, I probably would have tried to get a little gap in between the final day instruction and graduation to give all the back office and the faculty time to process all the applications. If I have to do this over again, or the next president has to do this over again, please remind he or she that give a break during the semester, mental health break, as well as at the end of the semester that we can do all these. So I've offered to do an in-person handshake or fist bump, exchange of a diploma, as well as a separate segment at the end of the graduation. So Paula and the deans of students are working on how best to facilitate that. Presidential search committee is meeting as of now pretty much all day Wednesday and Thursday. They have a list of, I think, up to 8 candidates that they are evaluating. They did do some video interviews, and the plan is to shortlist the pool from Wednesday and Thursday and bring a smaller contingent onto campus starting the week of May 21st. I'm not sure how many candidates will be brought onto campus. It's up to the search committee, but it's moving pretty quickly. We have our committee of the whole meeting this week, Friday, and I see on your agenda as well as on the committee of the whole agenda is a Starfish renewal of the contract, and I see you have a task force that's looking at that, so I'll be very interested in what the task force is talking about. We have all faculty rank advancements, contractual rank advancements on the agenda, and then I will be providing the trustees sort of a budget update. It's a sort of a changing situation between enrollment and CRRSA, which is federal stimulus, American Rescue Plan. We are up almost 100 full-time positions from the budget that I put together the last time I was at the college. And that's not a good thing, especially when we're looking at a sizable enrollment decline. So we're looking at a lot of moving parts right now. We have a lot of vacancies. I believe there are 87 vacancies in that position count right now. So there's a lot of work still to be done. Scott Welchin, Financial Aid Director, has provided a very detailed financial aid analysis. Right now, I'm anticipating a 3% tuition increase and trying to look at the true impact to our students as far as out of pocket. And then just sort of on a closing note, the last board meeting in April was a joint meeting with the ECC Foundation. And if anyone did not have the opportunity, the beginning of the meeting would be worthwhile to go back and look at, because it was clear from the business sector in Erie County, there is a significant need for trained employees coming from SUNY Erie. There's opportunity. I think we're missing some of that opportunity. I think we could do better. We can always do better, but there's an opportunity. But if I could say 2 words, workforce, 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 that's what was being preached by the foundation. So everyone's, Colleen, you have often said, I've often said, everyone's part of the enrollment, recruitment activities, and we're all part of the workforce activities in this community because, as you know, our students stay here, and there's a lot of jobs out there, and we need to help fill that demand. So with that, I will pause, see if there's any questions. If not, I will just listen to the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Bill. It looks like you're off the hook
Thanks.
for now. And so I'm going to turn it over to Amy or Mark for some COVID-19 updates.
Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Happy end of semester. Happy Nurse Week. Happy Teacher Appreciation. We got through it. We did it successfully. Give everyone a pat on the back. Say, hoorah, we did it. We did not have to close. We did not have to go remote. That's amazing. We really did a great job of keeping our community safe. So I thank all of you for your help and support this semester. We did a great job. I know sometimes it got tiring testing. It got tiring having to wear your mask. It got tiring having to go through checkpoints, but it has all paid off in the end. So thank you so much for your help. Speaking of summer and testing, right now we are still continuing on our 100% testing mandate as we move towards the summer semester, as well as now. So anyone who is in a physical presence of others, meaning face-to-face, field work, internships, teaching a class, working in one of our offices, you are required to continue to test on campus. If you have not received an email as a staff or faculty member from the COVID scheduling line, please let myself or Katie Marshall know, and we'll get you in and get you scheduled for your test this summer. You only need to test on the weeks that you are on campus. So if you want to take a vacation and take a break, you don't have to come in for testing that week. So that's a little update with that. I am going to give you a little insight in a rumor that I heard. Supposedly the spit tests are going away and we're going back to the swabs. So fingers crossed they are getting rid of those awful, godforsaken spit tests. So we'll keep you posted on that. We're really hoping that that moves forward, most definitely for the fall semester. Bill mentioned we're waiting for that guidance for fall, and I cannot tell you how much I say we are waiting for that guidance for fall. Two big deal breakers or deal makers, I should say, that we're looking for in that guidance is the distancing requirement. I know you hear about it on the news with the K through 12 schools, but this affects us as well. Moving from 6 to 3 feet is a huge difference for us from a terms of a capacity standpoint in our classrooms, as well as a capacity standpoint for people being on campus. Yes, offices have changed from 75% or from 50% to 75%, but unfortunately that 6-foot distancing hasn't moved. We need that to move, and we are very hopeful that it will change for the fall semester. The other part of that is the testing requirements. You know, in tandem to what the governor announced on Monday, that's what I want to see. I want to hear there's some difference in what we have to test, who we have to test, how frequently we have to test them, and if the vaccination is going to make a difference in that. That's a huge deal breaker and deal maker for the college. It's a huge expense. And as you can imagine, even if we brought everyone back, all students, everything else, and we had to test 20% of our population, that's more than double that we were doing in the spring. So just keep that in perspective. The cost of it is pretty high, and we're all staffed by amazing volunteers, but we need more help too. So that's just something to keep in mind as we're moving through this. So as soon as we know, we'll interpret it and get it out to you all as well. I think we touched on the vaccination requirements. It's really important to remember that it's currently still in the emergency authorization phase and has not received full FDA approval. Now, from a standpoint of, is it safe to get the vaccine, that type of thing, those are minor logistics when it comes to the approval phase. That means they fast-tracked it. But from a legal standpoint, it's pretty huge. So that's what we need to see move. Spent the last 24 hours getting a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails from concerned students and parents. Unfortunately, most of them were anti this new mandate. The one thing I will say, and what I'd encourage you all to push forward as well to your staff and colleagues, is that we should show compassion. Students are really, really nervous about this. And many of them that I spoke to, and many parents, they're just really uncertain. They don't know. It's not that they're anti-vaccine. They just felt that their child in particular or themselves were not at risk, and they felt that those that they encountered had already received the vaccine. So just keep that in mind. Listen to them. Please be patient and just tell them we are working through this just as much as they are, and we'll do the best to make sure that our campus is safe for classes this fall. And I got to give a plug. This month, as Colleen mentioned, is Mental Health Awareness Month. Tomorrow, there is going to be a fantastic presentation given by Susan Rothwell on mindset. It is tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I really encourage you to spend some time and check it out. Great opportunity. This has been a tough year for our students, our staff, our faculty, everyone. So this is a great way to connect and learn ways of how we can approach our lives and the support of our students as well. So I'll pass it over to Mark for his updates. Thanks, everyone, and have an awesome summer.
Thank you, Amy. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to give you some updates on the vaccine sites. The pods, the vaccine sites are still open, typically 5 days, sometimes 6 days a week. I'm going to echo what Bill said. They were very successful on the prom event, not this last Saturday, but the Saturday before. Part 2 of that will be the 22nd at both South and North. The county staff get dressed up. Dr. Burstein was in a Hawaiian shirt and whatever you call those things they wear on the bottom, plus lace. I have the pictures, but they are also moving out into the high schools. I just looked at the county schedule. They're at Grand Island High School. They're at Lackawanna High School. They're moving out into the schools directly. With that being said, there was also some calls to Amy and I in the last 24, 48 hours about the Pfizer vaccine. The approval still needs to go through the ATIP tomorrow nationally. Then it needs to go to the state to get approved for 12 to 15-year-olds. And then the county's got to approve it. Talking with Tracy Chalmers this afternoon, they expect all of that will happen, but it's still about 7 to 10 days to get that set up in our pods. So for those of you that want to get your kids in, from 12 years old and up, it's going to happen, but it's probably going to take 7 to 10 days. So just be aware of that. As far as the vaccines in general, the county is seeing hesitancy. There's been some really low numbers on days when they have first doses. Looking at the calendar right now, we do not have first doses scheduled on campus until the 27th. Only 2 days currently this month, the 27th at North and the 28th at South. However, this schedule does change frequently. So when that changes, we will update you. The county vaccine rate in Erie County for 1 dose as of this morning was 50%. For fully vaccinated, 39.6. To give you some perspective, nationally, the CDC numbers, it's 46% for a single dose, 34.8% for fully vaccinated. So we're doing about 4% above the average. As far as the pool tests, we did receive a very large shipment today from the county for our pool testing supplies. This will get us into the fall. I have to throw kudos out to emergency services. They continue to support us in a very big way. So thank you for that. Any questions? Colleen, it's back to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Mark. And I'm really excited you already answered my question with the Pfizer vaccine. My guys, I have a 12 and a 14, and they're really excited and want to get vaccinated. So they'll be happy to know that it's coming. So thank you. Okay, so with that, I was just reminded, I don't know let me just pull this up. Tomorrow is another virtual visit day. There it is. So it's going to be in the evening. All right, so May 12th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. And the information is there. I didn't know if Phil or anyone from the enrollment team wanted to add anything.
Yes, thanks, Colleen. I appreciate the time again. Yeah, things are tomorrow. If you're a participant, you should have received all your login information. I saw most of it went out. If you have any questions, Kelly Andolino Perry is going to be available during the event. She put her contact information in those communications. We're hoping for a successful event. We tried it Saturday afternoon. Now we're trying some evening ones. We know that tomorrow we have a few high schools. We've been working a lot with the Buffalo Public Schools. We know they are sending at least McKinley High School is sending about 40 students that we know of. And then we've been talking to South Park also. So we're hoping we have a good attendance tomorrow. Thanks. That's all I have.
Awesome. Thanks, Phil. And
Phil-
thank you, everyone
Phil,
that
can-
is participating in that. Did someone have a
Can I
question?
ask Phil a question?
Sure.
Anybody but you, Dave.
Oh, geez.
Anyway, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm so loved. I was just wondering, do you have any way of communicating to departments how many students are registered for their degree programs? In Datatel, we used to be able to run a report that said what students are in classes in the spring and not registered in fall, but there's no capability.
Yeah,
for that anymore.
we are working through those reports, Dave. I can tell you new students who are accepted right now. I can't tell you ones are enrolled, but we're working with the workday conversion. We're still working through the ones that are actually registered. So that's coming soon.
Okay, thanks, because
No problem.
that's very valuable. If we're
No.
going to contact students, we want to know who to contact.
Yeah, I mean, we can send you lists. We've shown most of the support staff on how to lists of how to pull their list of pending new students. It's the current students that we have to figure out.
Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome. Thank you. And then just a reminder, if anyone hasn't seen their email there, Phil sent out some links because they have the capability of showing the schedule live now. So that went out too, and that should be helpful for everybody with registering students and advisement and all that good stuff moving forward. So save those links, or save that email, I should say, flag it.
Yeah, that link is also is posted on the external website too, Colleen, on the registration page too. So if you need to reference it, if you lose the email, head to the registration page and you can find it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Phil.
Thank you.
Okay, pull up my agenda. And again, apologies, it was up and then, I don't know, it disappeared because I don't know, because it did. So we're going to talk about some old business, and we have some election activities we need to talk about. And I'm going to turn it over to Michael Rio. And do you want me to pull up that document?
Colleen, yes, if you have it, that'd be great. I have it here as well.
Good. Can you see it?
Not yet. Probably it's just uploading. Still see your menu screen.
Oh, all right. Hang on a second. Try that again. See all the crazy files I have. All right, there we go.
Okay, so updates include election results. The full-time counselor election closed, and we have a winner to announce. So Amy Pistron-Faust will be beginning a 3-year term as a full-time counselor member of the College Senate beginning in June. So congratulations to Amy and to everyone that ran and participated in that election. It was an excellent turnout for voting. So thank you, everyone. We still have a number of vacancies, however. So at this point, if you are interested, know someone that might be interested, know someone who might know someone, make a recommendation or contact Senate Governance at ucc.edu, contact Colleen or Erica. Openings, vacancies include technologies at North City and South, and to at North Liberal Arts City, and electronic technicians. We'd like to see those filled. We'd love to reach out to people. I'll keep bothering people with emails about volunteering. We are in the middle of a officer election cycle. So a call for nominations went out for College Senate Chair and Vice Chair. We have received 2 nominations, a nomination for Senate Chair, Colleen Quinn, and a nomination for Senate Vice Chair, Erica Hendra. We can continue to receive nominations up until we call the vote, which will be in a minute or so from now. Are there any nominations for officer positions, Senate Chair or Senate Vice Chair from the floor of the Senate? Okay, I think that's a healthy pause. So procedurally, I think we just need the secretary to cast that ballot, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you can make a plea too if you want to get somebody else in this position.
I already tried that. It didn't
Volunteers.
work.
Okay.
I'm kidding. No, Erica and I are, we discussed it at length. And, you know, we are happy to do this work. And we think right now, especially with the fact that we will hopefully have a new president, I think it'll be good for transition. We think, I should say, sorry, Erica, not to talk for you, but we think it'll be beneficial for the transition with the new president, and hopefully it'll keep things running smoothly with the leadership that Bill has brought us.
It's also 100% fine that you talk for me in that sense. I'm totally fine with that.
Thank you, Erica. Okay, so I guess Kim? Is she there? Is Kim on? Hang on. No,
I'm not seeing her.
I don't see her either.
I just did a search too. You can search by name.
Oh, I scrolled through the whole thing. So what's the procedure when the secretary isn't present?
I don't know. I don't
Michael
know if
Delaney on?
Mike Delaney has an idea, but I think we could wait till the end of the meeting, see if Kim joins us later, revisit that. I don't think it's a dire or urgent concern, but we'll figure
Okay.
out procedurally what we need to do.
Let's see, Michael Delaney just texted me and said we could call it by general consent. Or why don't we wait? We could just wait. See, I'm getting hit up in the chat. Vote for the slate as nominated. It's from Derek.
I suppose we could vote by consent. I don't think that's going to compromise the secret ballot. And I think everyone's very grateful that you're both staying on. So I think procedurally, we're okay.
Okay. There we go. Well, while you're up, I'm gonna have Michael Rio. Again, let me pull up the docs we got for. Hang on a second. Oh, there's my menu again. You guys don't want to see that. This. All right. Can you talk a little bit about Starfish for us and the Starfish Task Force? Michael Rio and Kathy Colesto are, thank you. They're kind of taking this one heads on for me, which I super duper appreciate. So anything you guys would like to update us on?
Well, I can talk about the document that we're looking at and offer kind of a summary of what we looked at last week. It looks like the timing for discussing the future of Starfish is, I think we caught this at a good time for discussion. So there's a transition that's happening with Starfish to supplement or integrate with Workday. And we still have a little bit of time to review the renewal of the contract, but it looks like the discussion really was focused on finding ways to make Starfish work as a retention tool and early alert tool more effectively at the college, to identify workflow. And while documents in Starfish or with the launch or initial launch of Starfish did identify very clear procedure for identifying, tracking, responding to flags, it seems that there's a lot of inconsistency and there hasn't been as much communication with faculty as there probably needs to be. So this summer, it looks like we have an opportunity to review as a college, to include wider representation in that discussion and work towards putting together a work group really over the summer to review Starfish, to identify what's working and what's not working, and to build that into the future use of Starfish. So we're really just very much at the beginning of this conversation, but it's going to, I think, as we continue, going to require some hours of commitment in getting a work group together this summer and building what's needed for the transition before the start of the fall semester. So the document here identifies open and cleared flags from the previous 3 semesters, and I also included 2019, fall 2019. And while the last 2 semesters, fall 20 and spring 2021, show that all flags have been cleared, we don't have a clear sense of when that's happening, if flags are being cleared in bulk. And that seems less important than identifying what happens to a flag once it's raised in the future. I mean, the look back shows that in previous semesters and since the pilot in 2015 and 2016, a number of flags remained active at the end of the semester. If those flags carry into the next semester, then identifying active and closed flags for the next semester becomes a bit of a problem. But if flags are being addressed and they should be addressed in a certain number of days, then there shouldn't be any open flags or active flags at the end of the semester. Knowing where the flag goes, who's responding to it, how to access reports, all those things should be reviewed and defined clearly, and perhaps marketed to students and faculty and relaunched over the summer so that we're ready to work with Starfish in the fall. I'm sort of looking at comments too, but at this point, if there are questions, anything I missed from the discussions that we had earlier this week, I don't know if Kathy, you'd like to comment, but again, I would say we're at the beginning of a very important and hopefully productive discussion over the next couple of weeks. And by July, we should know exactly what Starfish is going to look like in the fall. And Fabio provided quite a bit of information and reports, and he may want to address the Senate as well. So I'll leave kind of just open things up for discussion or questions.
Michael, this is Fabio. I'm just happy to take any questions today if there are any. We do have a practice of closing out flags at the end of term, and so just one clarification there. We have Starfish is very term based, so we don't usually see any leakage from one term to another. That's the only thing I wanted to clarify. The flags basically are strictly within a term. Even if they're not cleared, they don't come over in the next term, just because of the way that the term structure works in that software. But Anything else? I'm happy to answer questions or address anything that the Senate would like to get more information about.
Fabio, this is great data, but is it possible to drill down deeper in the data to find out what the outcomes were? What is the student outcome? Is this working to retain and increase success for our students? I know initially there were concerns that flags would be closed, but the student really didn't make favorable progress, or they were advised to drop a course without discussing with the faculty whether they could find a path to redemption. So I'm still a little concerned about what the outcomes are and how we measure them.
Yeah, that's a great question, Patty. I think we can do that reporting. It's a little bit labor intensive, and so we haven't done a ton of it. But I think about a year and a half, 2 years ago, we generated a one report on persistence and retention. I'll look for that and see if that's something that we can refresh. At this time, we've done a little bit of ROI reporting as well on against persistence and retention. And in the past, our conclusions have been roughly along the lines of an expected 1 to 2% persistence and or retention bump due to the system. And that's been our kind of working value, but I wouldn't mind refreshing that if I can get some reporting cycles this summer and get some time.
That might be something that this committee, which if it's in June, Michael, I'm willing to work with you. That might be good data for them to explore, or at least a sample to see if we can get some sense of that before we make any recommendations.
We certainly can, yeah. Yeah, the data should be fairly straightforward in most of those studies. It's just a matter of looking ahead to an outcome that we're interested in. So it could be an outcome for a course. So we could be asking the question, does raising an endanger or failing flag lead to better outcomes for students in the course or in a subject or in a program of study? So those are some of the types of questions we can ask and answer. We can also ask questions that are more global, like questions about persistence to the next term. Are students who are flagged or are students who receive kudos more or less likely to persist next term? There's stuff like that. I think what I would look for is maybe some definition of what we're trying to get, what we're trying to measure, try to get that buttoned up so that, we're all on the same page as to what we want to learn. And from there, I think we can build some reports, yeah.
Good.
Hey, Michael, can you share that spreadsheet that you put up there? And is there a way is the task force keeping minutes of their meetings? And if they are, is there any way I could have the minutes be part of the copy of the minutes?
Yes, I can send the minutes out to the committee to get those approved and then send them out and share them with you in the Senate.
Thank you, Michael.
You're very welcome.
I was just looking to see if I posted those. I didn't post those to the Senate site, but I can. The spreadsheet is posted onto the Senate site as well. And Michael has also done some exploration into the overall cost and revenues and things like that with Starfish and what it's cost. That is also something that we are looking at. And also those questions that you raised, Fabio, with process and everything, I think that would be exactly the questions that we need to be asking. It's nice if we know them, but we also need to know if Starfish is creating those retention and persistence numbers. And if it isn't, how can we use it better and more efficiently to increase those numbers? Because as we've said, it's cheaper to retain students than it is to gain students that are not already here. So I think those are very important questions. And I know, Patty, we will be meeting again soon before July. We're goal is to try to get most of this work done by the end of the elementary kids school year, because then it gets crazy for me too. Let me just pull up the agenda again really quickly. And also, Bill, I'll make sure I have all of that information for you too for Friday.
Bill or Phil?
Bill, sorry.
Okay.
I'm looking at my phone and looking at emails as I'm trying to get the agenda going. Let's see.
That'd be helpful, Colleen, because the contract is on the committee of the whole. I think the cost for 2 years is something to the tune of $65,000, $66,000. So the information for the board was not detailed like what I saw from Michael. So it would be helpful to better understand the data.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So we have next on the agenda, there's been a offshoot group for enrollment that has been working with Buffalo Public Schools and recruitment and advanced studies. I'm on the group, but so is Patty Kaiser and Dave Uzinski and Adrian Rannick and a few others. Adium has been leading this group, and I just want to call on Patty, if you could give us a little update on some of the things that are going on. Most of you probably were invited and got a recording of the Patty and Colleen show on why advanced studies is good, but I'll let you take over.
Okay, Colleen. Yeah, it's a subgroup of enrollment and recruitment because advanced studies should be a way of creating a path for our students. Bill's already talked about our critical need for growth, outreach, and advanced studies is another way to do this. We've surprisingly not had a good growing relationship in advanced studies with Buffalo Public Schools, but that is about to change. Some of the rules and regulations have changed. They're more interested, we're more interested, and Adium has been running a terrific team of trying to reinvent, re-energize, and recreate advanced studies so that it can grow. It adds FTEs. It is a moneymaker. It may not be a giant moneymaker, but if it works, it brings money in. It also should be a pathway to enrollment. Part of that is not just the student who's taking your advanced studies course, it's their friends, it's their teachers. It's creating visibility. It's a marketing piece of growing in the schools. When the high school guidance counselors start having a relationship with us and our faculty, they are more likely to tell their students to come here. It's really obvious. Buffalo Public Schools has had a better graduation rate. We would like those students to come to Erie. It's very simple. It's about the money. It's about the relationship. It's about growing our footprint in the community. And it's built on relationships. It's creating those relationships between our faculty and the high school faculty, visiting the schools, taking our swag, creating a relationship and saying, y'all come down to Erie, you can have me for your next course. I'm on campus. I'm not a scary monster. And congratulations, if you passed an advanced studies class, you've already passed college. You've proven to yourself and your family that you can be a college student. And for many of our students, that's a big step. So when they start thinking of themselves as college students, they will come and they will succeed. What the Patty, Dave, and Colleen's Horse and Pony show has been, we set up meetings with every division at the college. I think we did 5 or 6 of them. We started getting a little punchy by the end as we were repeating each other and talking over each other all the time. But we wanted to increase the awareness here at the college about advanced studies, about how important it is, and that it is faculty driven. So we set a challenge out to all of the faculty, all of the units, all of the divisions. How might you grow advanced studies? What is it in your program that would work? What are the barriers and how can we help you bring the barriers down? What creative ways can we do to start marketing advanced studies and building your programs? What alliances, what support do you need? And that's where we are. We've met with everybody. We've challenged everybody to give us a list of those courses that you can do and what would be the criteria for the high school teachers offering those courses. We want to make sure that we have transparency, but under Audium's leadership, we've got real clear direction, really well tightly organized, and I've been very impressed with working with her. So that's where we are, and I'll pause and take questions, but I won't pause long.
Hey, Patty, as part of I think you touched upon it, but part of the analysis is how many students ultimately enroll at SUNY Erie that have gone through a advanced studies program.
There is that, but I'm questioning that data because the student who's in my class may not be the one who comes to Erie, but his buddy might be. So it's a soft number, but we are looking at that. And I think we will have higher numbers of that direct pathway from the Buffalo Public Schools than we have had from some of the suburban schools. Students take courses in advanced studies for a lot of different reasons. Some of them know where they're going. If they're going to a high-level program at a high-level private or state ops, they know that they're going to have a hard semester, so they get some of their general education courses out of the way so that they can soften their first semester. Some students are just bored with high school, and this offers a broad menu of interesting things. They don't know what they want to do, so hey, forensic chemistry, that's that CSI stuff. Let's take a course in that. Or maybe I want to go into business. I'll take a course in that. And they're shopping around, and if we can hook them, we can really hook them into the program. So part of it is remarketing and rebranding how we talk about advanced studies to high school students, depending on the high school we're reaching.
And are we looking, not only do those students ultimately enroll, but as far as the persistence and retention once they come to SUNY Erie? Are they more successful because they're, better prepared, less successful? It'd be interesting to see that flow.
I know Deb Schmidt had lots of numbers, and I'm not sure if she had those particular numbers in the past, but I know it's something the high schools are very concerned about because that's part of how they're selling this.
And then my last comment, like the faculty have been reaching out to their students through Blackboard and to enroll, to register fall and summer. Do we know if there's opportunities to do similar marketing or getting the word out with using our adjunct faculty that are the faculty in the high school to do a similar push to sort of urge and get the students to know when the registration cycle at ECC is and things of that nature?
I think most of that outreach has traditionally been done by the ECC lead teachers. When we visit the schools, we would visit each of our classes each semester. So we're in the room and we can, I know Adrian Manick says, get some swag. We've got swag. Talk to the students and do that. The lecturers, the high school teachers, they're not adjuncts, Bill. Be careful of our language. They are lecturers, different status.
All right.
The better the relationship I have with my high school teachers, the lecturers in the advanced studies program, the better that pitch is going to be. So it really is, this is why I'm talking about reinventing, making sure that our energy is up when we go and visit those students and when we work with our faculty over the semester.
Thanks.
And with the advanced studies, I just want to add something that I recently found out while I was advising one of my students. She had 2 courses, so 6 credit hours of advanced studies from, she was at Wasanica West. And if you're an Excelsior student, you can bank those and push them to your first semester of college, or the first year, I should say, and that'll count towards their 30. So that is also something, and I verified it with financial aid, and I had one of the counselors, thank you, Allison, for actually finding that answer for me. But that is something also that's pretty awesome that we can do, and another marketing tool for our students. I'm going to jump out of order really quickly because Nate Wallace is here and he's got to go pick up his kiddo. So Nate has something, a quick thing he wants to talk to us about. Nate?
Thanks, Colleen. Yeah, I've got to go pick up my daughter. So I'm just going to give you a very brief update on our civic engagement efforts at the college. So just to give you a little history about it, back in May of 2020, I found out that Dean Jason Perry had signed the college up to participate in the All-In Campus Democracy Challenge, which is a nationwide initiative to get more students registered and vote, to register and vote. So Jason and I brought together an ad hoc committee to focus on voter engagement. We planned and facilitated a variety of online get out the vote efforts, including joining a grant-funded partnership with an organization called Democracy Works. So through this partnership, we were able to provide students with access to something called Turbo Vote, which is an online one-stop shop for all things related to registering and voting. And just so you know who the committee members are, it consists of Jason Perry, myself, Tahira Shahid Sanubi, Christine Morrow, Shirley Burnett, Ida Parker, and Christy Bijouette. We also have a student joining us, and we're looking for one more student to join us. So more recently, this ad hoc committee has branched out to focus on various types of civic engagement, not just voting. So in April, we hosted first in a series of events called Erie Community Conversations. This discussion focused on the topic of democracy, and future events will focus on other civic engagement topics. So the next step is that we would like to formalize this committee by making it a Senate committee. So rather than try to move forward with that immediately, we will wait until the September Senate meeting. This summer we'll put together a formal proposal resolution and bring that to the Senate meeting. So any quick questions about that? Okay.
Great. Awesome, Nate. Thank you so
Questions?
much for
Hope
letting us.
to see you. Yeah, hope to see you at future civic engagement events. These are things we're doing. Most of them are really geared towards everybody at the college. They're to bring everybody in our college community together. So students, faculty, and staff, and then also some things will be people outside of our college community getting involved too. So look forward to seeing you at those events.
Great. Thanks, Nate. Let's see where we are on our agenda. Oh, okay. So Faculty Council of Community College, we have Jackie Bossman, and there was just a plenary, and she's got all sorts of great information for us to learn. Jackie?
Hello. All right. So what I'm bringing to the College Senate virtual floor today are 3 resolutions that were sent out by the FCCC Executive Committee for campus endorsement. The 3 resolutions, I believe, are in meeting documents, or 2 of them are. I can add the 3rd, and I can share my screen.
Perfect. And I added the 3rd one to the documents, the one that was missing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'll share. And this is my. Okay. All right. Oh, that's really not the one I wanted. Here we go. Sorry. Okay. And, just to remind everyone, FCCC, the Faculty Council of Community Colleges, every community college in the SUNY system sends a delegate and alternate to engage in this SUNY-based shared governance body. It's really an awesome group, and individual campus participation and endorsement of FCCC resolutions. It's very important because it presents a unified SUNY shared governance focus, and this is very meaningful in our dialogue with SUNY. So the first resolution I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is on the SUNY General Education Framework. The subject of this resolution are really the substantive changes of the new General Education Framework And at the end for the resolves, there are 5 FCCC resolutions. So what I want to encourage everyone to do before the June meeting is just to review these resolutions here. There's another one with regard to the general education framework, and that is specifically referring to the timeline. Let's see here, where this resolution is essentially resolving that the proposed fall 2021 implementation deadline does not allow for requisite time needed to make the numerous curricular changes the new framework requires. And so FCCC is urging a longer implementation time, at least 3 years. So this is another general education resolution. I want to encourage everyone to review, and all that time that you want to spend on your computer now that the semester has ended. I know we're all just going to be dying to stare at our laptops, you know. All right, and there's one more resolution, and this is in regard to faculty consultation in course modality and decision making. So this resolution is resolving, or basically if FCCC is calling on SUNY to urge campus administrations to consult with faculty, department chairs, and shared governance bodies before determining a course modality. So further, the FCCC affirms that the modality decision-making should be data-informed and include, but not limited to, adherence to course learning outcomes and academic integrity. And sharing here. So those are the 3 resolutions which I'm proposing we vote on in June for campus endorsement. And yeah, this should give everyone enough time to read them over and you know, thoroughly. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. And that's all I had, unless anyone has any questions right now.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
So I was under the purview that the revisions and the survey that went out was going to indicate in the summer when exactly the rollout time was going to be. Is there something that the faculty council has, or any guidance that they have as to the fall rollout timeline? Because I was under the impression that that had not been specifically ratified at this time.
So that's a very good question. I'm going to request actually that you, if you could write that question out and send it to me. And what I can do is I will send that question to the FCCC Executive Committee and have the Executive Committee respond with a exact answer.
And by no means is that indicative of a rejection of this hope that the resolution here allows for more guidance and time to implement it. I was not aware that even fall 2020 was I know it had been mentioned in the green paper, but I was under the impression that once the revisions came out, that's when then guidance was going to come out in the summer as to the adjusted timeline due to COVID.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it's a very good question. And getting, receiving or getting a detailed response there definitely doesn't speak to anything other than, looking for the answer that you're looking for. So there's no worries about it sounding like it's a rejection or anything like that. I'll send the question to the Executive Committee.
Jackie, forgive me. You mentioned 3 resolutions. In the original agenda, there was a resolution on the course modality and then general education. What was the 3rd resolution?
So there were 2 on general education.
Okay.
One on general education framework and the other on the general education timeline.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that clarification. And then you sent out that for the Senate meeting had the PowerPoint of the FCCC, and they talked about a resolution on the SUNY's process to select a new learning management system. Did Did that get approved at faculty council, and/or is that something that the campuses are supposed to vote upon?
So we will be looking for campus endorsement on that resolution soon, but as of right now, that particular resolution has not been shared with all the delegates at FCCC. So we haven't really been instructed to distribute that resolution to our various shared governance bodies yet.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Thank you, Jackie. Right, when we had made the agenda, we had thought that we would have it by now, but we don't have that one yet. So that's just more to look forward to for June. But so once that comes and we get more clarification on it, it's possible we might be endorsing 4. And as we get that one, I'll make sure that we send that out ahead of time so that people have an opportunity to read it, and so we can have discussion regarding that. And with that, like, I don't know if I even want to say it out loud. It's like when I say my kids are behaving and then all of a sudden, you know, someone gets punched. But it's 3:37 and we hit all of our agenda items for today. So that's going to bring us to our very last agenda item, which is for the good of the order. Does anyone have anything that they have questions about, would like information about, or have any additional information that you would like to share with the group? I know not to go back to advanced studies, but I'll bring it up anyway. Maybe it'll help bring up some juices. But as Patty and Dave and I went to the different divisions, one of the things that we found out is, for example, Dorothy Johnson, she's one of our senators as well, emailed us, hey, we're already working with Buffalo Public. So we were able to find all these little different niches that are already working with Buffalo Public, and which we can then use and grow upon that. So I know that's something, you know, with advanced studies and any connections with Buffalo Public Schools, we're looking for anyone that has those types of connections and things as well. Or any other pieces out there, anyone? Patty, you're smiling. Is that because you want me to call on you?
I want you to stop talking.
I was wondering, is this the last Senate meeting before we lose Bill?
No, we get one more.
We do?
Yeah,
Okay.
So today is the last meeting of the 2020-21 academic year. We do have a meeting in June. It's June 8th. I think it's June 8th. And that will be the first meeting for the 21-22 school year. And then you guys are off until September. So Bill, hopefully, I don't know, I just filled his calendar for him. Hopefully Bill will be here because I believe he's here through at least the end of June. Unless he's got other plans. I don't know. Bill? You're good?
Yeah, I'm here as far as I know until a new president is appointed.
All right. I'm not going to be that guy that's going to ask 10,000 questions when we all want to go outside. So just want to say thank you for a great meeting. And everybody, we're almost at the end. I know you're all in grading jail too. I hear you. I see you. And have a lovely day. And hopefully Mother Nature will start figuring out it's May. Thanks, everyone.
It was just hailing here in Amherst.
That's